What's up guys, today we're gonna continue with our YouTube clone and we will probably do the channel page, also the link to it as well with the web router DOM. So here's the original code, and what we want to do instead of app.js here is essentially just copy this route here, and I will copy it and explain it to you guys. So copy it here, and actually it's not that route, my bad, it's the route above. And the reason why it has to be above the other router is because it's you can think it as like a layer. So this will obviously display, this route here will display over this route. And what we have to do is also, obviously this is gonna give us an error if we say this. As you guys can see, we get the channel is not defined, and that's fine. And what we have to do is create a new file here in components folder. And this is not gonna be a file, this is gonna be a folder as well. And this folder is gonna be named channel. And inside of here we want to create a channel.jsx file and also a channel.scss style sheet. You can also type RFCE if you have that React snippets plugin in VS Code, and this will create us a default layout. We also want to import the style sheet as well, so we're gonna do that. It's a /channel channel.css or SCSS, right? And now we can import it in the app.js file, and essentially we won't have any errors. So we will type import channel, and this is going to be from components, channel, and channel. Save that, and we will recompile, and we get no errors. Very nice. Okay, so as you guys can see, the path to this route is /channel, and what we have to do to be able to go to that path is essentially go into our header. We can remove these at the moment, and there should be a link here. As you guys can see, this is our channel link. I will collapse that for the moment. And here's where the path is going. And this is gonna just be channel, so that should be fine. Okay, so if we head over to our browser, so should you be able to click on this, and we get location is undefined. Interesting. Okay, so let's go back to our coding and VS Code. This might be because we have a slash here, and there it has to be a slash here as well. Let's try that and reload and see if that works. That didn't work. Interesting. Okay, let's see if I can fix this. So if we head over to our app.js, you guys can see that our route path is indeed /channel. We find also the component as well, and it's inside channel folder. Yep. And we import React here, and this should be fine. And if I head over to our header component in the source code, we will probably just see channel here as well, right? Yeah, but it's two, it's not path. Okay, interesting. So if we head over to our header.jsx file, this should be two, not path. So save that, head over to our browser again, and click view your channel, and boom, we have in fact channel. So that's really good. So inside here we also want to add some more styling, or edit some styling, because I changed a small value here. And what I did was essentially just adding padding left to user -menu-top -container. So let's do that. Here it is. So we should add a padding left here as well, which is going to be 2 rem. That should actually, if I have to reload this page here. Okay, so before we actually see the changes, or we can actually do that, we can remove this channel here and see that the text here has moved a bit to the right. Now what we also want to do is just edit this link tag here, because the color should be blue and also have no underline. So we will fix that as well. It's super easy to do. So in channel link. I think its name is. It should be channel link. Let's search for it. Channel icon. Channel link should be somewhere here. We might actually have to style that. Let's go and do that. So it's inside user-menu-top-container. So let's go there, and it's in fact channel link. I can copy this here. Yeah, it's inside here. So .channel-link, we should have text decoration, which is gonna be none. And we also want to set the color to blue. Just like that. And if we head over to our webpage, this should in fact have a color of blue and no underline. So that's really working. And by the way, the source code is in the description and also in the comments. So now we have fixed that. We have created the link. Now we just have to style the whole display and also the component itself. So let's do that. Let's head over to, we can collapse all of these because we don't need them. So let's head over to our channel folder, and I can collapse these as well, and head over to our component here. So here we want to have a div with a class name of I will actually just copy this. So this div should have a class name of channel. We also want to create the channel header. And let's create us an empty tag for us. That's very nice. And inside of this channel header, we also want to have our banner, which is going to be our thumbnail for this part, but you guys will probably want to use another image. So this is going to be our channel banner, which is also just called banner. And we also have to import banner as well. We can I will actually copy that as well. So we will import banner here, and this is from our image folder, which is going to be using the thumbnail 2.jpg. Alright, so we are importing banner and setting an image. Let's go head over to our browser and let's see how it looks. So it's currently looking like this. And this is not a surprise for us because we have currently no styling to this image, so the image will be max size. And the positioning is also quite wrong because we have no styling. But that's totally fine. So let's head back over to VS Code and continue with our structuring, I would say. So now we want to create, beneath this image, we want to create another div with a class name of channel credentials. And also inside of this div here, we want to have our channel icon. Now this is going to be a gray image, but you guys can choose to use an image instead. It's totally up to you. We also want to have a div with a class name of credentials, which is going to be the channel's credential. And here we want to have a username, and this should be your username, or if you have created a backend, you should probably send this information from the backend. And now we want to have another div with a class name of stats. So this is going to be the stats of the channel, and this is going to take in user tag, subscriber amount, and also video amount or videos amount. So this will in fact be a number which will display how many videos you have uploaded. Then we want to have a p tag outside of this div. Piece here, and don't forget these dashes here, because otherwise it will look funny. And beneath this p tag, we also want to have our options, which is going to be customize channel and manage videos. Just like that, and we will probably do that as well. Nice. And yeah, and beneath all of this, except this tag here, so we can collapse this tag. So beneath this tag here, we want to have a channel menu, which is going to be able to display different types of content, which could be your shorts, your videos, whatever. It actually is here: home, videos, shorts, playlist, and community. And beneath this, we also want to create a line here, And this line should be beneath this channel menu or outside of the channel menu. And then we also want to create a tag for the channel content, which will be displayed depending on what type of button you click on. And we will probably fix that in another video. Oops. Nice. So if we head over to our browser, you guys will see that we have our banner here, super huge banner. We also have the username, the user tag, subscriber amount, videos amount, more about this channel as well, customize channel, manage videos, etc. You guys get it. So yeah, that's really good. We have all the structures we need. Now we just need to style it. So let's head over to our styling sheet, and we also imported it here. Don't forget that. And inside of here, we have a lot of things to type. So let's start with the top. So here we want to type asterisk, and then and then some styling to it. And what this will do is essentially just this will say, put all of this styling to all of the elements inside in the elements inside of this component. So we have no margin on the outside. We also have box sizing, which is going to be border box. This will help us position everything a bit. And we'll also have overflow X hidden, because you should not be able to scroll in the horizontal axis. That's really good. So now I want to style the first div of the component. And this should be, this should be obviously the channel. Here we want to have position absolute, because we want to position it relative to the other components that is displaying. We also want to have, we want it to be positioned at bottom 0 and the right 0 as well. We also want the width to be 88% and 94%, and display flex will help us be able to position the different components inside of this component essentially. So this will have align item center, so everything is centered in the vertical axis. Flex direction should be columns, so everything is stacking upon each other. This should be scroll, because we want to scroll in the y-axis or the vertical axis. And overflow hidden here. This we could actually remove this, since we already have overflow X hidden here. If we save that and head over to our browser, you guys can see that everything is in fact stacked in the middle. Now the scroll or overflow y-axis doesn't work, and I will fix that in another episode, just so you guys know. But everything so far seems to be working, and we are currently in a very good... we actually have... interesting. We have a scroll Y here. That's really interesting. Maybe it's because it's just inside this component, but that should be... That's really weird. Anyways, let's ignore that at the moment and carry on. This scroll might... this might be the reason why it's able to scroll actually. So now I want to style the line, and this just creates a line which is gonna be in the total width. So this will be the whole width of this component. And after that we also want to create our channel menu, and I will add an end tag to that as well, just like that, not that, here. Nice. And this will essentially just, we are just saying, okay, let us be able to position every component inside of this component relative to this display flex. We also want the width not to be the max, but also to be 80%. The height can be whatever height we want, as long as it fits its content inside. And we also want to add a space to the bottom, which is going to be just 10 pixels, so that's totally fine. Instead of this channel menu, we want to create our button here, and this will style the buttons, which we have essentially here. This code here is gonna style these buttons here. So what we want to do is essentially have a background that is transparent. We don't want to have a border. We don't want to have an outline. We also want to round the corners, which is going to be border radius 1 rem. We want to add some space in the bottom inside of the button. So we want to add padding bottom 1 rem. We also want to add some space between the buttons, so we add a margin right. And we also want to the width and the height to be the maximum width and height of its content. So this will adjust depending on what type of other type of styling you have. For example, if we increase the font size, this will also increase. The color of the text inside of the button should be gray. We also want to add a transition here because we're gonna create a hover effect later, and that's actually the next step. And we also want to have a cursor pointer, so when we hover the button, we have our mouse will be a pointer. So let's save that and see how this looks. So as you guys can see, we have our line here. It's our black line here. You probably won't see it. I can move up my camera a bit so you guys can see it. Just like that, probably. Yeah, very nice. So as you guys can see, we have our line here. We also have our buttons here. Obviously, no effects or animations is currently executed because we have not created our hover effect, but that's totally fine. And yeah, so this looks pretty good to me at the moment. So let's create this hover effect then. So to be able to just do the hover effect, it's very simple. Just type button colon hover and then add a color black. So when we hover the button, the text inside of the button will be black. So let's go and check if that's working. So let's hover our button here. It's probably not working because I haven't saved the code. That's my bad. And now you guys can see that when I hover the text, it in fact is getting darker and obviously becoming black instead of gray. So that's really good. That is what we want. And now we want to style the channel header. And this should be outside of the channel menu. So we will paste this code here and create an end tag as well. I hope that I don't speak too fast or explain too fast for you guys. If I do, please pause the video and try to understand what I'm telling you. Okay, so our channel header here, which is going to be our banner and also our credentials for channel and so on. This will have a width of 80% of the channel. And we also want to have a height of 50 view height. We want to position our content inside of this div depending on this flex. And we want to center all the content in the center. And we also want to stack the content upon each other, so we have flex direction column. Very nice. So let's style this banner then. And what we can do is essentially type just image, and the width should be 100% of the banner or the header, and the height should be 45 view height. We should also have object fit, so it will fit the image and not have it contained, because then it will contain its resolution. We just want to have this whole box covered with this image. And we also want to round the corners a bit, so we add a border radius of 1 rem. Let's check our browser and obviously save the things we have coded, which I didn't. So let's save that and go over to our browser. And as you guys can see, we have in fact our banner here, and I can move my camera down a bit again. So that's looking quite nice actually. Let's style this credentials then. Let's do that. So inside of this channel header, we want to style this channel credentials. So just type .channel-credentials. And inside of here, we obviously want to have display flex, but now we want to have flex direction row. And I know I don't have to type this, but I like to type it out just to specify what type of setting I have for our display flex. Okay, nice. So beside that, we also want to add padding 1 rem, so we will add some space inside of the div. We also want the width to be 100%, and the height should be 35 view height, and overflow should be hidden, so we don't have any scroll bars that is in fact inside the div. Inside of this channel credentials, we want to style the channel icon, and this should be a round gray circle, And how do we get that? Well, we simply just say the background color should be gray. We also want our width and height to be 180 pixels. And the border radius should be 100%, and that's how we get an exact circle. So if we go over to our browser again, we guys can see that in fact we have a perfect circle here and the right height, and now we will style this credentials div. Okay, so inside of here we want to style our credentials, and I will type, obviously I can just copy paste the whole thing, but I want to go through it step by step. And I'm gonna add an entity to this as well. Nice. So what we want to do is say display flex. We also want to have a flex 1, which will be make us take out the whole rest of the width of the credentials channel-credentials div. We also want to have our flex direction to be column, so the content stacks upon each other. The content should also begin in the start, which is flex start means that we will start to the left of this flex attribute here. The width should be auto, so it's adjust automatically. The height should be the whole height, which is going to be 100%. And we want to add some space to the left inside of that div as well. So the channel icon and the credentials is in fact does have a space between each other. Now that's done, let's take a look at our browser, and you guys will see that we currently have in fact taken out the whole space here. We have some scroll bars here, but we will fix that. And yeah, so let's style the rest of this and make it look pretty. So inside of this credentials, we will also want to style the h1 tag, which is gonna be the user name tag or the user name div. And this should just have a font size of 2 rem. The width should be the maximum of its content, and the height should be 7 view height. We also want to style the p tag inside of this, and this should be having a font size of 1 rem, a width of max content, which is the total width of the max of the content. We also want to have a margin of 0.25 rem, and this will space out the different texts a bit, and a padding as well, so add some space inside of that text or div. Let's save that and go over to our browser, and you guys will see that we have in fact some weird going on here with all the texts and so on, and also the scroll bars, but we will fix that later. So let's head oh, I just started Spotify. Oops. Let's go back to our coding. So inside of this, we have in fact a div called stats, and I will just copy this and explain it. So in stats, we want to have display flex, which will create us a flex option where we can position the content inside of the div correlating to the flex. We also want the flex direction to be row, so everything is stacking upon each other in the horizontal axis. The width and height should be max content, because it's going to be the total width and height of the content inside of this div. And we want to center everything vertically, so everything is in fact in the same level. And the p tag in this div, or the stats div, will also have the same options as the p tag here. So let's save that. And yeah, we can actually check this. So as you guys can see, we have no scroll bars anymore, and in fact everything is in the right place. So now it's just these buttons left, and we will style that as well, and this is gonna not be too hard to understand, I hope. So now we want to create the options, or we want to style the options div. And I will add entity to this. So inside of this option, we obviously want to have the maximum width of the content. We want to have a height of 10 view height, and we don't want any scroll bars, so we just have overflow hidden. Inside this, we want to style obviously the button, and the button should have a background color of a darker white, or a grayer white, you can say. We don't want any borders, and we don't want any outlines. We want a padding to create a space inside of that button. We also want to round the corners a bit, so we add border radius 2 rem. We want to increase the font size so the text gets bigger inside of the button, and this is going to be 1 rem. We want to add some space between the buttons, so we just add a margin dash right, which is going to be 10 pixels. When we hover the button, it should in fact be a cursor pointer, so the cursor is going to be a pointer. The color of the text inside of the button is going to be black. Since we want to have a hover effect, we also want to add a transition here, which is going to be 0.2 seconds and ease in out. And we want to add a margin top to add a space to the top as well. And now we just want to create the hover effect, and we will just change the background color a bit. And then we create our button, or type button :hover, and this should be a darker version of this color up here, which is going to be a more darker white color. Let's go back to our so we have currently styled everything correctly, I think. Now obviously the proportions to this channel image here and also the buttons here is obviously bigger than the original YouTube channel page, but since I don't want to copy all of their code and don't want to get copy striked, I obviously want to have a different code. So this is how I do it. You guys can do whatever types of dimensions you want. It's totally up to you. And yeah, this for you button here, this for you text here, we will probably style all of that later in another episode. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it didn't go too fast. If you enjoyed it, please stay tuned to this channel. We will obviously publish more videos about coding tutorials and how you code in different types of languages in the future. Thank you guys for everything, and I hope you have a great day.